Today is Sober Day, I think. So International Sober Day. I'm just putting it out there. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I want to talk a bit about today is about reactions of people and the impact that we make out in the world, in the social media world and in the real world, without even realizing it. But the beautiful part is that people come back later and say, hey, you know what? This made an impact in my life. That made an impact in my life. And doing coaching as well, you see how your coaching and your words impact your clients, right? And their lives change accordingly. So I know there's a lot of stuff here, but what I'm saying, how do our words impact people? And how does a medium like this, like we have every week, impact you, all the people out there, all our fans? Well, I don't know. This is Carina, Brave Fear, Find Freedom, and I'll see what Dino has to say about this. Hey, Dino, how are you today?
Hey, how are you, Carina?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good day, good day, good day.
I know, it's beautiful, right?
Let's go.
It's summer, right? And
in some parts of the world, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in this part of the world.
For us, it is, of course.
Yes. And we've noticed as well how there's like a decline of interaction, and everyone's out on the beach and having fun, which is a good thing, right? That's what we always profess. At least they're not hiding behind their computer. What are you finding?
You know, it's very healthy to get away from the computer. It is real people interacting with real people, but it is just a part of our lives, not the full life. We've talked about this. I don't want to get deep into it, but yeah, I mean, you notice. I mean, if it's wintertime, you can be posting stuff at 5 o'clock in the morning and you'll get interaction. In the summer, at least in our summer, you know, people are vacationing, they're enjoying their time, and they're away from their phones or their computers. They might not get back with a response till the end of the day. That's okay, you know. Mm-hmm. If we live for those kind of reaffirmations, God help us all. I mean, they are nice, but they certainly are, you know, just a snippet again of life. But okay, so you brought up a subject, right? How do we impact others, or can you rephrase the question?
Yes. So how do we impact others without even realizing it? Like, we have this show every week, right? And it is unscripted because I just come up with, you don't even know until I've switched on the recording, and it's like, hey, this is what I'm talking about today, which is fun. And a lot of times we think we don't make an impact, but yet we do, because you get like feedback from people as you're walking along or wherever you are in your life, right? Let me give you an example. Last week we did a relationship show, which was like, I don't even know how it spun off there from someone. We'll go back and listen to it, but it was just about my grandmother, and we spun it off there. It was interesting because neither of us have had successful relationships. So at the end, I thought, was that a good show? And then I had affirmation from one of our followers, and he's also been a guest on our show, but I'm not mentioning names. And he was saying to me, wow, you know, that's such a different viewpoint. I really enjoyed it because it's such a good idea, or it's such a refreshing approach to see things from, you know, just like broken, you know, these are the broken pieces of our relationship. But by seeing the broken pieces, we can somehow make it work, and we can make it whole, because you can look at the broken pieces and say, okay, that's not what we want to do, but you have to be aware of the broken pieces so that you don't have to look at those broken pieces, but you can make a whole piece without using the broken pieces. Am I just getting too confusing? I am. I can see your face. Okay.
I get your point. Look, what's my take on it, right? If we're waking up in the morning once a week and we get in front of our respective computers to do a podcast and always have the mindset, today I'm going to do a killer podcast and it's going to be a home run and we're going to get all these views, at least for me, I think we're missing the point. Look,
Yes.
At this stage of my life, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. At this stage of my life, I've come to realize that I've been given a second chance. Okay. I'm not here to make people, feel good and always just talk about the weather or, look, I'm silly. I'm funny. I love having a good time. I love having pranks and all that. But I've been given a second chance because I've amassed, I believe, enough experience, personal experience, that I am choosing to share loudly, loudly from the highest rafters in the world. And the mission has always been, at least for me, that if we could just touch one person, we've done a good job.
Yes.
The side effect is that we're touching more than one person. Now, do you see it? Immediate response on a segment, one of these podcasts, one of our shows? Sometimes not. But as a general mission, right, of at least what I believe I'm here for, you see it every second of every day. You mentioned the sober community, right? Today is, and again, I'm the biggest, leader, charger for the sober community. And I didn't know today was, there's a national holiday every day, right?
Right, yeah.
This gay day. But, there are so many things that I can't talk about. Just because, again, because I'm choosing to be vocal about my sobriety, and that's just a part of my whole mission. I can't always talk about the others that are in the community, only just to say in generalities that this is sparking a lot more than you think. And in saying that, it's not always rosy. I can't say that there's a lot of people that I've personally helped that have lost their battle.
Yes.
And that's really difficult for me. Because again, you go into this thing thinking you're going to hit home runs and you sprinkle a little dust and everybody's going to be fine and everybody's going to be happy. And why wouldn't they want a positive message? People want that positive message. I believe that.
Yes.
But there are people we're not going to be able to help. And it's one of those things that can almost derail you from your cause if you let it.
Yes.
What did I do wrong? Am I personally responsible? Could I have said something better? Dino, you're not a doctor. You're not a counselor. Okay. But unlike philanthropy, where you pay for legal expenses to get your kids back, or legal fees to keep you out of jail for a drunk driving offense, or millions of things that are out there, right?
Yes.
In addition to just paying for somebody to check into rehab. I get involved more so than just writing a check. Okay, foundation fundraisers, that my organization is just freaking awesome, right? But we don't believe in just writing a check. We believe in getting as intimately involved as we're allowed to in somebody's recovery, in somebody's life.
It's important.
And so you sometimes see the impact you have. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just write a check and the person goes to court and case dismissed, you don't even get a thank you. You know what I mean?
It's a part of life.
It is. What am I saying here? What I'm saying is that not all things that we do in the name of good or in the name of our mission are going to prove an immediate impact, an immediate result for us.
Yes.
So you have to always ask yourself, were you doing it for the immediate gratification, or are you doing it for a higher purpose?
Yes.
Because the ones that are doing it for an immediate gratification are usually the ones you find on the side of the road. They start with a big flag and they go guns blazing and they're charging ahead and they're going to be trailblazers and fire starters and all that. And then later on, you see that they're discouraged. Well, I can't do this. I mean, it really is a test of strength and will and belief beyond anything I've been involved in. I mean, you know, to run a business is challenging enough. I mean, you got a lot of moving parts. The name of the game is provide a good product, a good service, but always in relation to profit, right? That's your master, whether you want to believe it or admit it or not. Profit is your master. Take philanthropy and this message of hope. What is my master? It's not profit, right? You can't treat it like a business, profit, loss, profit. I mean, you know, so how do you measure if what you're doing is the right thing? Or you see, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean,
Yes.
you know, and I'm very, very glad, like you, I've received some comments of people that I never even expected. Hey, you know what? I watch Break Free or Find Freedom. I mean, it's just one podcast of millions of podcasts out there, but it's really fascinating that they are watching it and they're asking, do you have a topic like this that you've already done, or, you know, can you cover it?
Yes.
On a future podcast? To me, that's awesome. But if I didn't get that question, would I still be doing this? The answer is yes, right?
Yes, because you can see the impact, and it's not about it's not about views. It's about giving the love and giving the message. And it's not even about a message sometimes. It's about just the interaction and the whole feel. So it's more than just that, right?
Right. I'm sorry. I was just shooing away a annoying pop-up. This is real-time, unrehearsed, unscripted stuff. So you're going to see that. But it was in my way. It was covering your face. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So I just want to go back a moment because I know how you feel with the coaching. I mean, I've been doing coaching for a long time, right? And a lot of times, I mean, it's not the same. It's similar, but a lot of times you do the work and people aren't ready to go to the next level. So it's very similar, I'm sure, to you, where you're giving money, but it's not about just giving the money. It's about being. You can't just give money because it's not. You're not going to give money. There's too much heart, right? You want to take the people to the next level, but we have to also realize that you can only take people to where they're at. Right. And sometimes they don't want to go to that next level because they're not ready. I remember on one of the podcasts you were saying, hey, come on, you need to get clean, or you need to get sober. Come on. We can't do that. And I found it especially also on Tuesdays when I do my volunteer work with the homeless. I find it a lot of times where I can see things, because I can see things, right? I can see things. I'm an empath. I can see patterns, and I know that I can help these people. Mm-hmm. And all I want is to help them and to change their lives. But I can't do that because they don't want to be, they don't want to be helped. And sometimes
it's their lives.
It's their lives, of course. It's not my prerogative. And sometimes even when I've stretched my hand out and I say, hey, my hand's here, take it, let's take this road together, they'll go, no, I don't want it. So I understand where you're coming from, but you've got to understand that everyone has their own path, right? Everyone has their own path, absolutely. And everyone has their own decisions, and everyone makes their own choices, which makes life so.
What I was saying about the check writing is this: I'm a firm believer, and I've grown up in a world where you hear a lot. A portion of the proceeds, or all of the proceeds, are going to go to this organization, which will benefit X, Y, Z. And it sounds great and it sounds noble. And I'm not knocking philanthropy, even that kind.
Yes,
63 cents. Why, that's less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. I mean, I get those. I see them. Remember, commercials to me is market research. I see all that. And obviously it works because they're still paying for commercials. The thing that always bothered me was that with these commercials asking for donations, they are in turn rewarding you by sending you this adorable blanket or this flag or whatever, which costs money, right? Which I just as soon keep your damn blanket, keep your flag. I have my own, and use that for good.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You know, philanthropy is different. I'm not judging somebody else, but my mentality was, I'm not just going to write a check. I'm going to meet the person I'm helping. I'm going to bypass. I'm going to get rid of all filters and all blocking things in front of me, and I'm going to go directly to the source. Why can I do that? Because I can.
Yes,
anybody
can.
It's not just me, right? But that's also with this whole message, right? This message of hope and inspiration that I know the world has been ready to hear for a couple of years at least.
Yes.
More so now than ever before. And they're resonating. Here's, and I actually predicted this eerily, several podcasts ago, that there are people, I said this, there are people that are going to do everything in their power to distort this message.
Yes.
There are people that are going to try and block it. And I'm nothing. I'm talking about the movement more so than myself, right? This is a huge movement. And I'm very careful to unpack it and unfold this entire thing that I've been building carefully, because just like anything else, too much, too soon, your message gets distorted. I have to make sure my message is clear, right? But there are other people that don't want this message to see the light of day.
Yes.
What a fun light of day.
Light of day, yeah.
And I never, I know I said it, but I never expected it to this degree already. So as an example, one of the things that I'm doing under this brand of spreading light and is my second book, right? And I'm writing the second book. I'm pouring emotion into it. After this, I'm going to the studio to do a little more soundtracks to the book, but that's another podcast.
Nice.
So in this book, I'm feeling emotion. I'm talking about stuff, and quite frankly, it's well publicized. It's a perfect continuation of my first book. And it's about my spiritual awakening, which is recent, right? Do you know that as controversial as that could be in, I don't want to call them civilized parts of the world, but you understand what I'm saying. Even in those parts of the world, in our country, let's just talk about that.
Yes.
There's going to be controversy. But in other parts, just saying spiritual awakening is a death sentence, not just a death sentence. It's a long, slow torture and then death sentence.
Yes.
How do I know that? Because with this campaign and this movement, there are people that are coming to help, volunteering their time and services and sharing their causes with me. And there's certain things that I have already seen that I can't unsee. Horrible things, ugly injustices that, I mean, you'd never eat again if I just shared a couple of them with you. What does that do to me personally?
Yes.
You got to be strong and just remember, why are you here? Okay. But more so than that, understand that there's a lot of people that even waving that flag of light, like we're helping people, they want you in this movement of mine. They want me to announce and align with a particular religion, a particular faith, a particular movement. And I'm not here to profess, like I said, I'm not here to preach or teach or anything like that. I'm just a guy who's been enlightened, who believes to spread a message of hope and positivity in the world. And what you believe is not what this is about. It's about a spiritual awakening. Take that any way you want. That's exactly the message that I'm sending. There are people that just, that's not enough. Well, spiritual awakening, you must be aligned with this faith. You must be aligned with this. And I keep telling them, no, my message transcends all faiths.
Yes.
And my message is not aligned with a political movement, a particular affiliation of any kind. And even that clean message could get me tortured and killed in other countries. Do you understand how crazy it is?
Yes. Yes.
So here's the thing. How do we know what we're doing is helping people? I look at it two ways. One is, in your heart that what you're doing is good. You're not doing it for the accolades. You're not doing it for the home runs. You're not doing it for the views and the likes and all that stuff. But you get a large following that do give you affirmations, that do tell you, way to go, keep going, keep spread. And that does feel good. Come on, let's not lie. And faith does it.
Yes.
But here's the crazy part, and the crazy Dino. I also see affirmation that I'm on the right track from the people who come out of the woodworks to hate.
Yes.
And distort the message. I'm just like, whoa, so where somebody would have a bad day about these death threats or you're nothing and you don't know what you're doing. And how can you spread a message of light if you're not aligning yourself with this faith or that, or challenging me on quotes of a Bible. Yeah, I never said I was a priest or a rabbi or a scholar I never said that, but you get all this stuff where it could certainly ruin somebody's day at the very least, if not just ruin their life.
If you allow it to.
And make you be one of those guys at the side of the road saying, you know what, I give up. This message of hope, it's too hard. I kind of get a rise out of it. I'm just like, okay.
That means you're on the right track.
I'm disturbing some people, by the way, a lot of people. And I'm just like, so I must be doing the right thing. Let me tell you how much I think I'm doing. I don't want to get too technical or touch on this, but one of the things that I'm building and why it's taking so long to announce in full is because I'm creating using very, very cutting edge technology. Like bleeding edge of technology. And don't ask me more than this, but it's Web3, Web5 technology. What does that mean for people like me that doesn't understand what the hell that means? It means, one, it costs a lot of money. But aside from that, it means that everything that I do, my magazine, my book, my documentaries that are coming, my movie that's coming, my feel-good programs, TV channel things, they can't be platformed.
Mhm.
They can't be censored. And you got to be very careful, what you put on there. My thing is never going to change. I want people to get goosebumps. I want them to have that good feeling. I want them to feel hope and inspiration and motivation. And I want them to feel light. And I want them to have a great positive experience and a great day. That will never get distorted or deplatformed just because some parts of the world think that I should be sentenced to death. And that's the beautiful thing. So you want to talk about conviction. When a guy is building his own platforms to put his own content on those platforms, be it magazine, book, or television, so you can't be censored, that's somebody that's really, really on a mission. Now, does that make me special? It makes me a little crazy, I think, but I just think that that's how it's got to work. Because I'm not going to derail the message, and I'm not going to hold out for a large sponsor because I don't need one. And I'm not going to, I want this message to get to the people that want to hear it. The ones that don't want to hear it, that's fine. But again, I'm not doing this for just 50% of the people. I'm doing this for 100% of the people. You choose whether to watch or read or follow or whatever. That's what I've been working on. And so it's really apropos that we're talking about this today. Again, I don't want to talk about unfolding this thing. There'll be several podcasts in the future where I'll announce certain things, but for right now, just know that I'm not doing it for the affirmations of a couple people that get back. It is a great feeling to have a podcast that somebody watched and it changed their day. It's a great feeling, and it tells you we're on the right track. But also somebody that hates our podcast for whatever reason, tell somebody this is how you turn a negative into a positive, right? This is the ultimate mentality. This is the no fear mentality that I think I now appreciate has carried me through 40 years of being just a psychotic entrepreneur, because I had no fear.
Yes.
And I didn't put so much merit into somebody's negative feedback of what I was doing, saying, or selling. What are you selling today? The worst thing you want to hear when you're an entrepreneur. All right, kid, give me your spiel. You got 10 seconds. You know what I mean? But that's how they, at times that's how they would look at me, because it was Dino, the salesman of this product, and then Dino, the salesman of that. The next thing you know, I'm Dino Bugband. And then after Dino Bugband, I'm Dino Payroll. What are you? Well, I'm a lot of things. But to your average guy that remembers you with a product, they're like, he's selling. All right, let's hear your spiel. But if that bothered me, I would have never done the things that I did. Right. And so all that 40 years, for me at least, was prep time. Being able to hear no and not get distracted. Having somebody that says, your product stinks, or your service stinks, or worse, you stink. I've heard that a lot too. And hey, I'm not. You're not here to win a popularity contest, right? You know what I'm saying? You're here at the end of the day to try and have the best life you can, live it the best way you can, try and live it without limits, which is something I keep preaching. And that this kind of feeling is certainly contagious.
Yes, it is.
Just as contagious as this feeling is the opposite, is negativity.
Right.
Okay. We could start this show and every subsequent show with you introducing me and me saying to you, I'm not feeling that well today. And, it's really a simple example, but there are probably a great percentage of people that if I said that, they would say, I'm not feeling that well too. And then we get off track and we start talking about the negative things that happen during our week, not necessarily the positive things that happen in our week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's contagious too. Then somebody else comes in, let's say, oh, we'll announce our next guest. Oh, how you doing? Hey, how are you feeling today? Because you know what? Carina and I haven't had a good week, and we were just kind of hoping maybe you had a good week. Well, I didn't have a good week either.
Right. That's exactly.
And then that's just completely, it happens. It happens. And in fact, one of the comments from one of our podcast viewers was exactly that. How do I not get pulled down by people with problems that weigh heavily on me? Whoa, how many times have we covered this subject, right?
Yes. Yes.
I think we covered it in, some goodbyes set you free. It's tough. It's tough having a mindset that is constant, that won't bend, that's not relenting, that gives its own reaffirmation when nobody else will give it to you, that sees the positive in the negatives.
Yes. Yes.
That doesn't get distracted and doesn't really get concerned hearing the word no, or I hate you, or I want you to die, which is, I'm not taking those things lightly. I'm just saying I have two choices: keep doing what I'm doing, or wave my flag of defeat. And that's not going to happen.
No.
It's never happened to me in my life.
Exactly.
You may adjust your message, the delivery of your message, but never the message. For some people, like I said before, if I told you everything that I'm doing right now to create something, everything within this, lots of moving parts, and stupid me has decided to be the choreographer of all of these moving parts. Why? Because I don't want a distorted message.
Yes.
So I have to make sure that the message is complete and unique and pure from me.
But
right?
That's in true Dino style anyway. That's the way you operate. That's the way
it is. I wish I would have chewed a smaller piece, at times. But, it's very challenging, and I love challenges. We all know that. But, too much too soon, right? So like I could blurt out everything that I'm doing. And even if you're a fan, you'll be like, well, wait, I'm not calling you slow or stupid or anything like that, but this is my clear vision. Doesn't mean you get it. And it doesn't mean I should try and make you see it all. Mm-hmm. All I'm supposed to do is just create things that hopefully keep sparking up the world. Because there's Dino, and then there's somebody else who feels it, and so on and so on. And it's an exponential thing. It's like I keep saying, it's not me. It's the movement that I caught a front seat to, and this train is moving now, full of people, and there's no end in sight. I mean, it just keeps continuing, which it's very exciting for me. Yeah.
It must be, and you'll just have people coming along, and of course you'll have people that hate you, because you'll have everyone coming out of the woodwork now because they see you and they start getting jealous, or they want a part of it, or they think they deserve it, or whatever it is. So that's going to be the interesting part as well now, and you're seeing it, and that's something that I think we spoke about, or I mentioned before, where as soon as you start getting notoriety, or let's say it that way because it's just a fun word, but then people start coming out of the woodwork and they want a piece, or they decide they hate you, or whatever it is, because they are jealous and because they can't do it. I mean, of course they can, but they don't want to. or whatever it is.
And let's define what one apiece is, right? Because we're doing philanthropy and all this stuff. I mean, it's a piece of nothing. It's being given out to like a whole world of causes, right? But they want, when you say they want a piece, some, believe it or not, want credit. You want credit for the light. Think about that one. A concept as old as time, you want to take credit for the light. I'm not taking credit for the light. All I'm saying is I'm a guy who hasn't necessarily been the greatest role model throughout his entire life, that's been plugging away, getting beat up, getting in situations with no fear for whatever reason for 40 years as an entrepreneur. Hit some home runs, lost a lot more, right? But at the end of the day, somebody who wasn't necessarily religious, didn't necessarily appreciate reading or school in general, and loved alcohol and drugs. How am I a role model to any? Oh, and divorced 3 times. How can I be, but it's the experiences that I've amassed that I have decided to be vocal about, talking about me, as opposed to talking about somebody. I mean, who am I to talk about anybody else but me?
Yes, of course.
But there's this such a wide range of experiences that I can share that most of my life I was hesitant to share them because and it's kind of hard even now. I considered it showing off. It's not necessarily showing off, I found. If you talk about all of you can't just talk about the good parts. That to me is showing off, right? Even though they happen. But you also got to talk about the bad parts so that people understand, hey, I can relate to this. This happened to me too.
Yes.
For some reason, that's my second chance. It's like I've been working out and training a lifetime to accept this role.
Yes.
Which I don't think in my wildest dreams I'd ever be able to be even remotely effective had I not lived the life I've already lived. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. It's funny. I was writing something before the show, and I was thinking the exact same thing. My story that I always say that I came to America on a promise that turned out to be a lie, but actually that lie was a blessing in my life because with all that's happened, I mean, I've started a podcast, I met you, we're doing this every week, and I've met so many other people, and it's just like flourished and grown, and it's taken me as well to this point where I can have a voice, where I can share the message.
But can I interrupt and tell you something? I mean,
yes, sure.
So in your story, and it's been in our magazine, excuse me, you just said you left your home on a promise and a lie, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you know how many people would be scarred to let anybody in after an experience like yours? They'll forever be non-trusting. They would forever be hesitant. They would forever not take things at face value. I mean, it's okay to do your research, but I mean, the bottom line is we're no rocket scientists, me or you, but we generally go by our gut feeling, right? And in the belief that there's more good out there than bad.
Yes.
That's what I run on.
Yes.
Yet you come and attack life, or you appear on this podcast, or in your helping other people in your consulting with the faith of a child. You see what I'm saying? It's like the innocence. I'm not sitting there stroking you and you're like, no. The Academy Award, I want to thank so-and-so and all the people that made me great. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm just saying it is a remarkable trait to have. where you still choose to look at life innocently, despite all the horrors out there and despite all the things that have happened to you personally, right?
Yes, yes, yes. But that's a choice, because I've realized that that person that I came here for was just like a messenger almost for me. And really, I have to thank him and bless him because, hey, do you know, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I wouldn't have met you, and it would have been like life would have been different, and it's my life is much richer for that experience and all the others, even being in detention for 8.5 months, like it's all turned out beautifully. So I had
you learned how to make a shank in prison. I'm kidding. I just have to. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, well,
right. See, that's the humor, the silly part that's never going to leave me. I'm sorry.
But I love
we can
it.
still try and save the world, but we still are remarkably funny, you know, and you got to be able to laugh and stuff.
But that's what makes the whole thing fun, because I can laugh at that. Because now I can laugh at it. If I think about how I landed at LAX with all these bags, and then later I had to go to Boise, and I saw this person. It's like, who is that person? That doesn't look like the person that I've been talking to. Anyway, but like I said, it was a blessing.
Hashtag no filters, right? I mean, seriously, look completely different than the person that you knew online for 2 years.
Well, not completely different, but different. I mean, people are different, and well, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was all part of the
man, I would have ran. All right. Okay. So what have we done here today? What have we said? What do we start saying?
Okay. So we were talking about posts, and no, we were talking about influencing people, or not influencing people, impacting people.
Impacting
and
people.
Yes, and I think again it's about just being who you are. You know, the filters are fun, and I tried a filter the one day on one of my TikTok videos, and every time I look at that video I think, who is that person? It was horrible. So no, I don't care about filters.
Yeah, you gotta have a little fun. You gotta lighten up. And by the way, over filtering and stuff like that, look, you know, whatever. I'm not even gonna say anything.
But everybody does what they want to, really.
No, it is. Look, you could go on social and have fun and have a good time and talk to your friends. It's a remarkable way to stay in touch with friends.
Yes.
Shocker. I'm going to be 57 next month. Shocker that I say this now. It's also a great way to use a platform to spread a message.
Yes.
If you're going to wait for likes and hits and follows and all that stuff to reaffirm that you're doing the right thing, then maybe you should think long and hard about what you're doing, because it really is an unforgiving task at times. It's really tough, but it separates when somebody says, this is what I believe, these are my convictions. Just remember that in this country, you're free to say whatever you want, and you're going to have doubters and haters and people who unfollow and probably send you death threats and stuff like that. In other countries, it's a life sentence. Okay, a lot more serious. So put things in their perspective sometimes.
Yes.
And just like understand that, yes, it doesn't feel good to feel a certain way. It doesn't feel good to get depressed, from others, or get a thumbs down, or what's that emoji, that red emoji?
Oh, that's like angry. Yes. Yes.
The anger emoji, that's a new one. I had to look it up. I'm like, wait a minute, this emoji is not yellow. This emoji is bright red. And the eyebrows aren't up, they're down.
They're down.
So I look at it to distinguish, God forbid, I distinguished sad from angry. This one was definitely angry.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's definitely
But,
angry.
hey, look, I'm learning. I'm learning all forms of messaging. But at the end of the day, look, what we're doing is we're using our experiences to hopefully make an impact on others who may be going through the same thing. And, you know, and what I found with these shows, other shows, and other things that I'm doing, it's got to be the right time for it to impact them.
Yes.
We could do this show that can help, let's say, a person tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
A year from now, somebody else who already saw this show may see it again and say, hey, you know what? Because your life is always fluid. It's always moving. There's ups and downs. There's good times. There's bad times. I never said that I'm going to be Mr. Positivity every second of the day. I get hit with some hard, serious stuff. I'm going to have bad days just like everybody else.
Yes, of course.
It's not, this isn't about preventing a bad day. Let me just make that clear to you and everybody out there. It's having the skills and coping mechanisms and conviction and anything else you want to label on that thing and sprinkle magic to be able to get up and do it again.
Yes.
The show must go on, as they say in show business, right?
Right.
Not everybody's going to like your movie. That's okay. Not everybody's going to read your book. That's okay. And not everybody's going to tune into a station. That's okay too, right?
Right.
What's not okay is when you're easily swayed and distracted because of a small minority group that is trying to let you believe that they are the majority.
Yes.
Well, everybody thinks like, who? Name it. You and your parents. That's it. You know, it's a joke.
Yes.
But don't ever believe that. David and Goliath, right?
Yes. Yes.
Same
Yes.
thing. Don't ever believe that. Don't let anybody shake your tree. Just continue plugging away with a message, and you will you'll feel good knowing that you're making an impact if you're consistent. And let me just say one more thing. You will see positive reinforcement that your message is good. You'll see no reinforcement that your message is good. And probably outweighing both the A and B by 2 to 1 is you'll see negative reinforcement.
Yes.
Take it as a compliment, man. Life's too short.
Yes.
And turn it into a positive.
Yes.
Right?
That's very true. And the thing is as well, is it's very hard to not take things personally if you're not strong within yourself. And I know I've said this, we've said this so many times, but I just want to reiterate it here, because you've got to do that inner work. You've got to be positive. You've got to have that inner power, because it's so easy. I mean, for you, I'm sure you've got a lot of haters coming out now. Oh, I'm sure you've got a lot of haters coming out now. And if you're not strong enough within yourself, then it's easier to be swayed, like you said. So you've got to do that inner work. You've got to do that self-love. You've got to keep looking at, say, I don't have to compare myself to everybody else. I'm okay who I am. But the only way you're going to do that is to do the work, to do the self-love, to constantly do that every day, to remind yourself. Because with social media, it's so easy. You go out and it's so easy to compare yourself. Suddenly it's like, oh, look at that one. She's doing that, or he's doing that. Why am I so bad? Or why am I not up at there? Meanwhile,
but it also goes way
pretend.
past social media. Social media is not a world. It's a virtual world. It's just a little rest stop where everybody can sit there and share things, and we move on with our lives. The world is much bigger than
yes,
social.
of course,
Okay?
of course.
And this metaverse, and I'm not even going to get into that. But in closing, let me explain one thing that is just a horrible example, but it just came into my head when we were talking. Not every day is going to be a good day for anybody. Now, I'm talking about me. Not every day is going to be a good day for me. So I consider myself like this huge, powerful generator that is able to run on its own power for a certain period of time, right? But eventually, that generator needs to plug into power.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And so I cannot be a positive voice, a message of hope, spreading light, and do all these things infinity on my own generator.
No.
But some days you're like, how does this guy keep getting up? Well, that's my generator. But how does my generator get power? Through all the people that I'm helping.
Yes.
And through that spiritual connection that recharges my batteries. So back to social. If you're one of those people that chooses only to have a social world and your battery is only charged on the little snippets of thumbs up or likes or views, your battery is not always going to be full. It's a false feeling. It's like your phone saying it's full. You make one call and it's like, oh, my phone died. I wonder why. Because these little pulses of power. The real power is still in. I did a little snippet on this, and a lot of people appreciated it. It was dumb at the time, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm going into my meeting. Let me just do something and just tell people, you know what? I know there's a lot of fancy ways to communicate, this Zoom being one of them, but in my opinion, nothing is ever going to replace face-to-face interaction. It never will. And now you know why. At least for me, it's because I'm plugging in again to real electricity, which is another person or people. And that's the trick.
Yes. Yes.
So, can you weather the storm? If you're like really centered and you've really done deep dives and you're really, in tune with yourself and you know what you're about and you're secure and you're confident, all those things are great. We've talked about all of them. But just understand that as a person having all those characteristics, all I am is just a big, powerful generator. I still need to plug in and recharge my power.
Yes.
Everybody does.
Yes.
So don't, one size fits all. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a holistic approach, because you'll find like one day it's, I'm not feeling so good today. And then go out, take a walk and meet people, or go and visit a friend or whatever you do. And everything changes because you energizing. So you're right.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So I am glad we covered this. What we covered, I have no idea. I'm kidding. But again, if this could touch one person, a single touch can change the world.
Yes.
We've proven it ourselves. Prove it to yourselves out there. And remember, go out there, break some fear, and find some freedom. Until next time, take care, Carina. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And thank you, Dino. We'll see you next week.